The research station vanished, replaced by a vast complex of interconnected structures that existed partially in multiple dimensions. Before the Carthian ships could react, they found themselves enveloped in fields of twisted space-time. Their weapons, their shields, their very drives ceased to function. This is Admiral Helena Chen of the United Earth Fleet. Her transmission reached not just the disabled ships, but every Carthian command center in range. What you are experiencing is called a Mobius lock. Your ships are currently suspended in a localized bubble of altered space-time. You cannot move. You cannot fight. You cannot escape. But you can listen. In the Carthian Empire's Central Command, Supreme Overlord Vexnar watched with growing horror as reports flooded in. Human ships were appearing in impossible places, demonstrating technologies that shouldn't exist. But they weren't attacking. They weren't destroying. They were simply revealing. You believe strength comes from fear. Helena's transmission continued. You believe power gives you the right to abuse those you think weaker. So let us show you true strength. The strength to hold back. The strength to advance without conquering. The strength to face monsters without becoming them. Across Carthian space, human ships continued their transformation. Each revelation was precisely calculated, each demonstration carefully chosen. This wasn't a prelude to war, it was an education. In her quarters, Helena opened a secure channel to the United Earth Council. Phase 1 is proceeding as planned. The Carthians are beginning to understand what they've awakened. Their empire is built on the assumption that they are the most advanced species in their sphere of influence. That assumption is now crumbling. And the civilian populations? Council President Santos asked. Untouched, Helena confirmed. This isn't about punishment. It's about enlightenment. They hurt a child because they thought they could. Because they thought we were weak. Now they learn that our restraint was a choice. Our peace was a gift. And they chose to reject both. Above a Carthian colony world, a human diplomatic vessel shed its dimensional shadow, revealing a ship that could have conquered the planet in hours. Instead, it broadcast a simple message. We are humanity. We chose to hide our strength because we wanted friends, not subjects. You chose to teach us that the galaxy only respects power. Remember this lesson well. The next one will be less gentle. The galaxy was about to witness something it had never seen before. A species with the power to conquer choosing instead to teach. The Carthian Empire had ruled through fear for millennia. Now they would learn about power wielded with wisdom, strength tempered by mercy, and justice delivered not through destruction, but through understanding. Supreme Overlord Vexnar stood in the grand chamber of the Carthian High Command, his ancestral armor doing little to hide his trembling. The holographic displays surrounding him told a story that shouldn't have been possible. Across their empire, human ships were simply appearing, bypassing defense systems that had protected Carthian worlds for millennia. How? He demanded of his assembled advisors. How did we miss this level of technological advancement? High Scholar Zenthal stepped forward, her usually confident demeanor shaken. My lord, we're analyzing readings from their revealed vessels. The technology, it's beyond anything in our archives. They weren't just hiding their capabilities. They were hiding entire branches of physics we didn't know existed. On the main display, another Carthian battle fleet found itself frozen in space, caught in what the humans called a Mobius lock. Their mighty warships, unchanged in design for centuries because nothing had challenged them, now hung helpless like insects in amber. They haven't destroyed a single ship, Military Commander Daxvor noted, his voice carrying a mix of professional admiration and deep fear. They could, but they choose not to. This is deliberate. In that moment, every screen in the chamber flickered. The image of Admiral Helena Chen appeared, her expression carrying neither anger nor triumph, only resolution. I'm speaking now to the Carthian High Command, she began. Your empire has stood for thousands of years, ruling through fear and domination. You believe this made you strong. Today, we show you true strength. The displays shifted, showing a Carthian pleasure world. Its orbital defenses, the most sophisticated in the Empire, simply disappeared. Not destroyed, erased, as if they had never existed. The planet's surface remained untouched. "We could unmake your civilization," Helena continued. "Turn your worlds to dust, your ships to atoms, your people to memory. But that would make us what you are. Instead, we offer a choice." For 3 days, humanity watched in silence as the Carthians committed their final mistake. No ships moved. No transmissions were sent. The galaxy mistook humanity's silence for shock, for fear. They were wrong. In the darkness of human space, ancient engines awakened. Ships that had been hidden in dimensional pockets began to emerge. Weapons that bent the laws of physics were brought online. Humanity had spent centuries preparing for this moment, hoping it would never come, but ready if it did. On the 4th day, as Emily lay recovering in the Aurora's medical bay, her body healed by technologies the Carthians never knew humans possessed, Captain Martinez stood before the United Earth Council. Her voice, broadcast across human space, carried the weight of history. "They thought our restraint was weakness, our patience, fear, our peace, submission. Today, they learn the truth. Today, we show them why humanity chose to hide its strength, not out of fear, but out of mercy." The Aurora's true form began to emerge, quantum shields dissolving to reveal a vessel that had only been playing at being primitive. Across human space, similar transformations took place. The mask of technological restraint that humanity had worn for so long was finally cast aside. The galaxy was about to learn why humans had chosen to play at being sheep, not because they were prey, but because they had hoped to never need their wolves' teeth. In the depths of Sol's Kuiper Belt, a hidden facility stirred to life. Fleet Admiral Helena Chen watched as ancient doors, disguised as ordinary ice formations, slid open to reveal humanity's greatest secret, the Perseus fleet. These weren't the simplified vessels that humanity had shown to the galaxy. These ships represented the true extent of human technological achievement. "Status report," she commanded, her voice carrying across the quantum-linked command center. "All vessels reporting ready, Admiral." Her XO, Commander Marcus Rodriguez, responded. "The dimensional anchors are disengaging. Shadow protocol is being lifted across all systems." For decades, humanity had maintained an elaborate charade. Every ship that ventured into alien space carried a dimensional shadow, a carefully constructed fake that hid their true capabilities. The ships the galaxy saw were deliberately designed to appear less advanced, matching the expected technological level of a young spacefaring race. "Begin Phase 1, Helena ordered. "Targeted revelation only. Let's not shock the entire galaxy at once." Across human space, carefully selected ships began to shed their dimensional shadows. The process was gradual, calculated. This wasn't about revenge. It was about justice, and justice required precision. In her private quarters aboard the flagship Artemis, Helena reviewed the data from the Aurora incident. The Carthians' brutality had been broadcast across their empire as a show of strength. Now that same broadcast would serve as evidence of their crimes. A soft chime announced an incoming transmission. Dr. Catherine Watson's face appeared on the screen, her eyes carrying a weight that hadn't been there before the incident. "Admiral, Emily's recovery is proceeding well. The quantum regeneration has repaired the physical damage." Helena nodded slowly. "And the psychological impact?" "She's stronger than they could have imagined," Catherine replied, a hint of fierce pride in her voice. "She wants to help. She wants them to understand what they've done wrong." "They will," Helena assured her, "but not through more violence. Not through their methods." The plan had been in place for centuries. A response protocol developed by humanity's best minds, designed to handle exactly this type of situation. The Carthian Empire had ruled through fear because they had never encountered a force that could truly challenge them. They were about to learn the difference between power and strength. In high orbit above Earth, the first wave of ships began their transformation. Quantum fields shifted, revealing vessels that seemed to bend light itself around their hulls. These weren't the boxy, utilitarian designs the galaxy was familiar with. These ships were expressions of humanity's true technological artistry. "Sir," Rodriguez called out, "we're detecting Carthian probe ships at the edge of the Arcturus sector. They've noticed the changes in our vessels." "Let them look," Helena said. "It's time for the first lesson." 3 Carthian battlecruisers approached a seemingly isolated human research station. Their sensors showed the same primitive defenses they had come to expect. But as they moved to firing range, reality itself seemed to ripple. The research vessel Aurora drifted silently through the star-studded void, its quantum sensors carefully mapping the boundaries of known space. Captain Sarah Martinez stood at the observation deck, watching her crew work with quiet pride. Humanity had spent decades carefully introducing themselves to the galactic community, deliberately presenting themselves as a young, developing species. It wasn't a lie. Not exactly. They simply chose which truths to share. "Captain, we're detecting unusual energy signatures at bearing 047. Lieutenant Chen reported from his station. "Configuration matches Carthian patrol patterns." Martinez nodded slowly. The Carthians, one of the oldest spacefaring races in the galaxy, self-appointed guardians of civilized space. They preached order through strength, peace through dominance. Humanity had studied them carefully since first contact, watching how they treated younger species. The result had been concerning. "Maintain course," Martinez ordered. "We're well within international waters, so to speak. Let's see how they react to a simple research vessel." She glanced back at the small figure sitting cross-legged in the corner of the bridge, surrounded by digital screens displaying star charts. Emily Watson, daughter of their chief xenobiologist, had been given special permission to join her mother on this 6-month mission. At 12 years old, she showed remarkable aptitude for astronomical navigation. The Carthian vessel appeared without warning, its massive form seeming to coalesce from the very fabric of space. The Aurora's sensors had detected them long before, of course, but Martinez allowed them their theatrical entrance. "Unknown vessel, you have entered restricted space," the Carthian transmission boomed across their comms. "Prepare for immediate boarding and inspection." Martinez raised an eyebrow. Their navigation data clearly showed they were in neutral territory. This was a test, or a trap. "Carthian vessel, this is the Earth research ship Aurora. We are conducting peaceful scientific surveys in accordance with all interstellar treaties. Our position is well outside any restricted zones. Your primitive navigation systems are clearly malfunctioning," came the dismissive reply. "Submit to boarding or face immediate consequences." Before Martinez could respond, massive energy nets erupted from the Carthian ship, ensnaring the Aurora in a web of crackling power. The crew maintained their calm. They had trained for this. The ship's true defensive capabilities remained dormant, hidden beneath layers of carefully crafted camouflage. The Carthians boarded with typical arrogance, their towering forms encased in ornate battle armor that was more ceremonial than practical. Their leader, Supreme Commander Vexthor, strutted onto the bridge as if expecting immediate genuflection. A human child on the bridge. He sneered, noticing Emily. "Your species truly knows nothing of proper military protocol." He turned to Martinez. "Your vessel is now impounded for violating sovereign Carthian space. Your crew will be interrogated to determine the full extent of your transgression." "Commander," Martinez's voice was steel-wrapped in silk, "I must insist you check your navigational data again. We are clearly in neutral space, and my crew has done nothing wrong." Vexthor's facial tentacles writhed in what passed for amusement among his kind. "You mistake this for a negotiation. We are the Carthian Empire. We do not negotiate with lesser species. We teach them their place in the galaxy." He gestured to his guards. "Take the child. Young minds are more pliable. She will help us understand humanity's true intentions in this sector." The bridge crew tensed imperceptibly. Martinez's fingers tightened on her command chair, but her voice remained steady. "Commander, I strongly advise against this course of action. There are diplomatic channels." "Diplomatic channels are for equals," Vexthor interrupted. "You will learn that humanity has no equals here." As the guards moved toward Emily, Martinez sent a silent, quantum-encrypted message to Earth Command. "Protocol Omega. They've crossed the line." The reply was immediate. "Understood. The mask comes off." But it was too late to prevent what happened next. The Carthians seized Emily, ignoring her mother's desperate pleas. As they dragged her away, Martinez saw something break in Dr. Watson's eyes, something that would soon be reflected across human space. The Carthians demanded the Aurora's crew watch the interrogation broadcast. They wanted to make an example, to demonstrate their absolute authority. They didn't understand that they were writing their own epitaph. In the silence that followed, Vexnar felt the weight of 10,000 years of Carthian history pressing down on him. They had never faced a force like this, one that held absolute power and chose not to use it for destruction. Across Carthian space, human ships continued their methodical revelation. Each demonstration was precise, calculated. A weapons facility would find its entire arsenal transformed into inert matter. A military academy would watch its most advanced technology reduced to its component elements. Your empire was built on a lie. Helena's voice carried across the stars. The lie that strength and cruelty are the same thing. That power only exists to dominate. You believe yourselves superior because you could hurt those weaker than you. Like a child. An innocent child who only wanted to learn about the stars. The chamber fell silent as footage from the Aurora incident played. Many of the high commanders saw it for the first time, saw what had been done in their name, saw the moment their empire had sealed its fate. "We're receiving reports from all sectors," Zenthal reported, her voice barely a whisper. "Human vessels are everywhere. They're not attacking. They're just watching, waiting." A new transmission cut through the chaos. Emily Watson's face appeared on the screens, healed but carrying a wisdom no child should have to bear. "I forgive you," she said simply. "Not because you deserve it, but because holding on to hate would make me like you. My people aren't destroying your empire because that's what you would do. We're better than that." Vexnar sank into his ancestral throne, understanding finally washing over him. The humans hadn't hidden their technology out of fear. They had hidden it because they knew what power could do to those who weren't ready for it. They had given the galaxy a chance to prove itself worthy of advancement. And the Carthian Empire had failed that test spectacularly. "Your civilization stands at a crossroads." Admiral Chen's voice returned. "For millennia, you have taught the galaxy that might makes right. That the strong can abuse the weak without consequence. Today, you learn that true strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the choice not to." Throughout Carthian space, human ships began a new phase of their operation. Instead of military targets, they now revealed themselves above civilian centers. Their presence was a reminder, not of humanity's power to destroy, but of their power to choose mercy. In the Grand Chamber, the reports continued to flood in. The humans were systematically dismantling the Empire's ability to wage war, not through destruction, but through transformation. Military installations found their weapons transformed into medical equipment. Warships discovered their weapon systems replaced with scientific instruments. "They're not killing us," Commander Daxvor realized aloud. "They're forcing us to evolve." As if in response to his words, Admiral Chen's final message echoed through the chamber. "The galaxy is changing. The age of rule through fear is ending. You can adapt, or you can fade into history. The choice, as it has always been, is yours. But remember this, we will be watching, and if you ever again mistake kindness for weakness, what you have witnessed today will seem like mercy indeed." The message ended, leaving the Carthian High Command to face a truth their species had never had to confront. There were forces in the universe far beyond their comprehension, and some of them had chosen peace not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. The Artemis hung in high orbit above Earth, its true form now visible to all. Admiral Helena Chen stood in her ready room, watching holographic displays of reports from across former Carthian space. Dr. Catherine Watson sat across from her, Emily sleeping peacefully on a quantum comfort couch nearby. "The transformation is proceeding faster than we anticipated," Helena noted, gesturing to a display showing former Carthian military academies now converted to scientific research centers. "Their younger generation especially seems eager for change." Catherine nodded slowly, her eyes drifting to her daughter. "They're learning what Emily already understood. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing the better path forward." Across the galaxy, the ripples of humanity's revelation continued to spread. Other civilizations watched in stunned silence as the mighty Carthian Empire underwent its forced evolution. Some feared they would be next. Others began to question their own society's reliance on force and intimidation. On the Carthian homeworld, Supreme Overlord Vexnar faced his own council of elders. The ornate chamber, once a symbol of their absolute power, now felt like a monument to their hubris. "The humans have dismantled our military capability," he reported, his voice heavy with understanding rather than anger. "But they've left our civilian infrastructure not just intact, but enhanced. Their technology. It's as if they've mastered the fundamental forces of the universe itself." High Scholar Zenthal stepped forward, holding a data crystal. "We've been analyzing the educational materials they've provided, the physics they understand, the dimensions they can access. We thought ourselves masters of the galaxy, but we were children playing with toys." In orbit above them, a human diplomatic vessel maintained its vigilant watch. Its presence was no longer a threat, but a reminder. The ship's commander, Sarah Martinez, had been specifically chosen for this assignment. The same captain whose restraint during the Aurora incident had given the Carthians one last chance to choose a different path. "Captain," her AI advisor reported, "we're detecting unusual activity in the Carthian civilian sectors. They're dismantling their war monuments. Voluntarily." Martinez allowed herself a small smile. "They're learning. Not because we forced them, but because we showed them a better way." Back on the Artemis, Admiral Chen received a priority transmission from the United Earth Council. President Santos' holographic form materialized in the ready room. "The other galactic powers are requesting meetings," he reported. "They want to understand who we really are, why we hid our capabilities for so long. And what are we telling them?" Helena asked, though she already knew the answer. "The truth," Santos replied simply. "That power without wisdom is like a weapon without aim. That we hid our strength not out of fear, but out of hope. Hope that the galaxy could learn to cooperate without the threat of superior force hanging over it." Throughout human space, more advanced technologies were being revealed. Not weapons or engines of war, but tools of creation and understanding. Quantum healing centers, dimensional research facilities, consciousness transfer arrays, the full spectrum of human achievement that had been kept hidden for centuries. In her quarters aboard the Artemis, Emily Watson worked on a new project. Her trauma had not been forgotten, but it had been transformed, like the empire that had caused it, into something constructive. She was designing an educational program for young Carthians, teaching them about the power of choice and the strength found in mercy. "The hardest part," she explained to Admiral Chen during one of their regular meetings, "isn't making them understand what they did wrong. It's helping them imagine how to do things right." The Admiral nodded, understanding the wisdom that could only come from experiencing both cruelty and compassion. "That's why we're not simply punishing them. We're showing them an alternative." Across former Carthian space, that alternative was taking shape. Military shipyards were being converted into exploration vessels. Weapon research facilities were being transformed into medical centers. The empire that had ruled through fear for 10 millennia was learning a new way to exist. But it wasn't just the Carthians who were changing. Humanity, too, had to face the implications of their revelation. For centuries, they had carried the burden of their hidden power, always wondering if they were right to conceal it. Now they had to bear the responsibility of wielding it openly. "We're receiving requests from other civilizations," Commander Rodriguez reported during a staff meeting. "They want to know if we'll intervene in their conflicts, solve their crises, fix their mistakes." Admiral Chen's response would set the tone for humanity's new role in the galaxy. "We didn't reveal ourselves to become the galaxy's parents. We did it to show that there's always a choice between power and wisdom. We'll help those who want to learn, but we won't solve their problems for them." As the days turned to weeks, the transformation continued. The galaxy watched as a civilization built on dominance learned to thrive through cooperation. They watched as humanity, the species that could have conquered them all, chose instead to teach and guide. And in the end, the greatest lesson wasn't about power at all. It was about choice. The choice to be better than what fear and hate would make of you. The choice to use strength not to destroy, but to build. The choice that a single child had made, showing an empire that true power lies not in the ability to hurt, but in the courage to heal. 1 year after the transformation of the Carthian Empire, representatives from across the galaxy gathered in Earth's orbital diplomatic station, Unity Point. The station's true form was now visible to all. A marvel of engineering that existed partially in multiple dimensions, its crystalline structures seeming to dance between realities. In the Grand Assembly Chamber, Emily Watson stood before the gathered delegates. Now 13, she carried herself with a quiet confidence that commanded attention. Behind her, the Earth hung like a blue jewel in space, a reminder of humanity's home and the values they chose to protect. "A year ago, I was hurt by people who thought strength meant the ability to cause pain," she began, her voice clear and steady. "Today, I stand before those same people as they learn a different kind of strength." Former Supreme Overlord, now First Speaker, Vexnar rose from his seat, his once ornate military armor replaced by simple diplomatic robes. "The child speaks truth," he announced, his voice carrying the weight of profound change. "We ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years, and in all that time, we never understood true power until we lost our own." Admiral Helena Chen watched from her position near the chamber's entrance. The Artemis hung in orbit nearby, its quantum arrays no longer hidden. Like humanity itself, it stood as both promise and warning, a reminder of power tempered by wisdom. "The galaxy stands at a crossroads," Chen addressed the assembly. "For millennia, advancement was measured in weapons, territory, and the ability to instill fear. Humanity chose a different path. We advanced in secret, not because we feared your weapons, but because we feared becoming what you were." The chamber's holographic displays activated, showing scenes from across former Carthian space, where once stood monuments to military might, now rose centers of learning and healing. Former warships had been transformed into exploration vessels, their crews discovering the wonders of the universe rather than its vulnerabilities. Dr. Catherine Watson stepped forward, standing beside her daughter. "Our greatest achievement wasn't our technology," she declared. "It was maintaining our humanity while developing it. Power without compassion is nothing but another form of weakness." Throughout the chamber, representatives from younger spacefaring races watched in wonder. They had grown up hearing stories of the mighty Carthian Empire, believing that such power was the ultimate goal of civilization. Now they saw a different possibility, one where advancement meant more than just better ways to exert force. "But make no mistake," Admiral Chen continued, her voice taking on an edge of steel, "our mercy should not be mistaken for weakness. Our compassion is not an invitation to test our resolve. We revealed ourselves not just to stop the Carthians, but to send a message to all who would follow their path." The chamber's displays shifted, showing the full extent of human technological achievement. Dimensional engineering that made space itself malleable, quantum manipulations that could reshape matter at its most fundamental level, technologies that seemed to break the very laws of physics, all held in check by an unwavering moral compass. First speaker Vexnar addressed his fellow Carthians scattered throughout the chamber. We thought ourselves the pinnacle of evolution. We were wrong. True evolution isn't about developing better weapons or stronger shields. It's about developing the wisdom to know when not to use them. Emily stepped forward again, her next words carrying the simple clarity of truth. You all want to know why humanity hid their power for so long. Why they let other races believe they were weak. The answer is simple. They were giving us all a chance to be better. Some of us had to learn the hard way what that meant. The assembly fell silent as the displays showed one final image. The research vessel Aurora, now restored to its true form. It had been transformed into a permanent memorial, a reminder of the moment when humanity decided that enough was enough. Let this be our legacy, Admiral Chen concluded. Not that we had the power to destroy an empire, but that we had the wisdom to transform it instead. Not that we could have conquered the galaxy, but that we chose to help it grow. And let this be our warning. Humanity will always choose peace first, but we will never again hide our strength. The galaxy must learn that true power lies not in the ability to take life, but in the choice to protect it. As the assembly concluded, ships from across the galaxy witnessed a final demonstration. The dimensional barriers that had hidden humanity's true capabilities for so long dissolved completely. Orbital shipyards, research stations, and defense platforms revealed their actual forms, a network of technology so advanced it bordered on the miraculous. Yet, amid this display of unmatched power, Emily Watson's simple message echoed through the chambers of Unity Point. The strongest thing you can do isn't hurting someone who hurt you. It's showing them a better way to be. The galaxy would remember this moment, not as the day they learned to fear humanity, but as the day they learned what true civilization could be. A child's pain had forced humanity to reveal their strength, but it was humanity's choice of how to use that strength that would echo through the ages. The message was clear to all who witnessed it. Humanity had hidden their power out of hope, revealed it out of necessity, and wielded it with wisdom. They had shown the galaxy that true strength lies not in the ability to destroy worlds, but in the choice to make them better. And in the depths of space, countless young civilizations looked up at the stars with new understanding. The age of empire through force was over. The age of advancement through wisdom had begun. Humanity had shown the way, not through conquest, but through choice.